Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by Whiskerware Apparel, along with Doc Lang. I'm Lyle Stokes and Doc. We had a beautiful weekend in Missouri.
Yes, ours wasn't bad either. At least all that white stuff's gone now.
Yeah, didn't that last us but about a day and a half once it started warming up. We have reports that a lot of the ice is missing off the river. I know there's going to be some people out fishing. There was people on the Lake of the Ozarks yesterday. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. One thing I want to remind everybody right off the bat is the Ice Bowl is coming up, and if you'll go to their site or Rig Wrap's Facebook page, you can get in on the Rig Wrap contest and I think it's a guess the weight of the winning weight of the tournament, isn't it, Doc?
I don't know.
I believe that's what it is. So anyway, there's a contest on there for the winner of the Ice Bowl. If you go there, check it out and get I believe it's closest weight to the winning weight of the Ice Bowl. But all the instructions will be there. Go to their website or go to Rig Wrap's website and make it happen. And while you're at it, there is a value pack special running on Rig Wrap products right now for a $50 value for $19.95 and free shipping. You can't beat that with a stick.
No, especially with free shipping.
That free shipping, yeah, that saves you what, $5, $6, $7?
Oh yeah,
pretty good deal.
Yep.
Welcome to Catfish Weekly, Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going awesome, man. We've been needing to have you on here for a long time.
Well, it finally made it work out.
We did, and when I told you I'd like to put up a picture of you and a fish, I was expecting just one fish. I didn't know he was going to send me a double like that. Man, it was awesome blues, boy.
That was a good day.
I guess.
Those two fish came within just a couple minutes of each other. It was actually weighing it was a 63 and a 70. We was weighing the 63, and I heard something and turned and looked, and I had a rod just kind of wrapped around the side of the boat motor, just going.
That's a heck of a day, man. There's some great fish, and I'm sure that you caught those on the Missouri River.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you fished that Missouri River a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can be in it at Glasgow in about 20 minutes from the house, so
that's pretty handy.
Close. Dalton's not too far, and Brunswick's just a little further, so works out.
Yep. Every time we go up there, I see you. I'm always glad. But you've been making a lot of the other tournaments too, and it's really always a pleasure to see you at these big events and stuff. And that Brunswick tournament has really turned out to be a major player in the tournament world.
It has. I'm glad to see it grow, and especially it being so close to home.
Heck yeah. You know, and that's a big thing for us Midwestern guys, whether we're from Iowa or Missouri or Illinois or wherever, Oklahoma, Arkansas. A lot of the big tournaments are south and east of us, and we need these bigger tournaments. And Brunswick has become like I say, it's a major player. People don't realize it because of it being a night tournament, but there is a ton of tough competition shows up for that. Big payout, Missouri River. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Yep. And it's the right time of the year. The night bite's going good. You can catch them. You know, all aspects of a blue cat's world, you can catch fish in that time of year, the way it seems. So.
That's right. Dave Swearington's in our chat, says that Brian helped me catch my personal best last winter on the mighty Missouri River.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, we did have a good day that day. We had a few misses and a few hits, but I think his one he caught that day was like a 46. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, Dave.
Well, I tell you what, him and Rob Gregg had a live feed going on this weekend where they was catching ice fishing in ponds. And yeah. I'm going to tell you, them guys was a hoot. I couldn't stop laughing. They was hilarious. It was a great time. And, man, they caught a bunch of fish.
They did. They was slamming them. I was laughing my butt off watching Dave drill that hole.
Yeah.
And then he took a bird.
Sliding around all over the place. It was very entertaining. You know, they guys need to keep doing that because it was really cool to watch them out there slipping and sliding. There was as much water on top of the ice, I think, as there was under it. But they had a great time, and like I say, they caught some big old crappie.
Yep, they did.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Well, listen, I am going to let you visit with Doc. I'm sure Doc has some questions, and we'll try to watch the stuff going in chat. Cindy's not here with us tonight, so if we miss your question and it's something that you really want to know an answer to, if you want Brian to tell you an answer, or Doc or myself, be sure to keep posting it, and we'll get to it as quick as we can, because we're one person short tonight, but we'll try to get everything answered that we can possibly make.
Good deal. Welcome, Brian. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Carl Wells says, I see Brian is sporting a Team Catfish logo.
Yes, sir.
Does he ever use their stink bait?
I have used it. I don't use it too much. I try not to catch channel cats, to be right honest with you. My good friend Boomer, I leave that to him. He likes channel cats.
So now, wait a minute, not to interrupt Doc or anything. Are you telling me that my old buddy Boomer is a stink baiter?
I mean, somebody said, I heard a tale once that Boomer might throw a little stink.
Oh, boy. Boomer Wilson, you are in trouble, buddy.
He's always in trouble, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
No, I have used the some of Team Catfish's stink baits, their dip baits, and their what do they call them? Is it fuzzy thing or furry thing? Those hooks with the dough keepers on.
Got the rubber bands all over them.
Yeah, that stuff sticks good. Yep. But I only use one hook, and that's the Team Catfish 8/0 double action.
Tonight is
really good luck with it. So that's why I wear their logo. Proud of their hooks.
What's your normal rig? Are you running a three-way, or are you running Sandy, or what are you running?
Usually just in the Missouri River, I usually just run a slider, down main line down to the barrel swivel with a 60-pound big game leader to the 8/0 double action.
How long is your leader?
Different situations, 18 inches to 30 inches, Yeah,
if the current's really, just go shorter when the current's higher.
Yeah.
So
or
if you got control.
Yeah, or if you're running a double hook rig, we're throwing big baits, I like it a little longer for that. So
now somebody just posted on here, Brian's mainly using shad. Is that, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
I like shad. I really do. My primary goal in fishing, bait. If I don't have fresh bait, I don't go fishing. So, and I have luck on shad year round. I've caught fish on skipjack and everything, in the hotter water months. But shad works for me all the time. So yeah, I use a lot of shad.
That's cool. A lot of people don't use shad. I love using the shad. I like to use big shad.
Yep. I like them about the size of a flip-flop.
Yeah. Now, are you using them? You're not using them live. Are you using them live?
Well, I have. I have. I mean, I've got a extreme bait tank where I keep, I'll take them in the boat, and I will keep them alive and use them. I mean, the fresher the better in my book. So. Yep. Yeah,
and
I have used them for flathead.
Yeah, the area that I fish in the spring of the year, the shad will outdo any other bait that's out there. As the flatheads are coming out of their, little winter slumber, if you can find some good fresh shad, it'll outdo the skipjack 10-1.
Yep.
But that's what I've found out.
Yeah. I can't disagree with none of that because I've had awful good luck on shad.
Now, are you getting your shad right there on the river?
Am I what?
Are you getting the shad right there on the river, or are you getting some from someplace else?
At times, I can get them on the river. You know, if the water's up enough where it's backing up in the creeks and stuff, you know, I do get shad up in there. Occasionally, some moon eye. Wintertime, you know, I live 20 minutes from Thomas Hill Lake. I can run up there and get some shad pretty easy. Or if I'm going to Lake of the Ozarks, you know, just a little boat ride, and usually you can have all the shad you want right there on the lake and go right out and fish.
Right, right.
We primarily fish on Lake of the Ozarks in the wintertime whenever the river freezes up. So, and we've been fishing down there quite a bit lately because our river's been frozen.
Dave Swearing's got a post on. He said, Brian, I think Lyle talked about it last week, how the shad population is diminished on the river. Have you noticed that?
I have, yes. And I think everybody would unanimously say that the shad population is declining on the river. Yeah. I know when I first started on the river, you know, you could go out and throw a net behind a couple dikes and you'd end up with enough to fish with. And now you might search your butt off for a while to find enough to fish with.
Right.
It seems like in the summer, you know, when the water's up and it backs up in them creeks and stuff.
Yeah, they push up in there.
Yeah, they'll push up in there. So, and especially if you can find a field drain, you know, where it's dumping into a ditch, you know, with some running water, the shad they'll go to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you blame the decline in shad on the Asian carp population?
Well, I'm not a biologist, and I just listen to what everybody else talks about, you know, and I mean, you kind of can form an opinion. So, I mean, the Asians and the shad are fighting for the same food. So, I mean, there's a lot more. You can go out and throw a net on the Missouri River and catch a lot more Asians than you can shad. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they are.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a buddy that just jumped in my seat with me behind me. As you can see, this is a old miniature dachshund of my daughter's that I'm babysitting, and she does not like to be alone.
Yeah.
But there's not enough room in this chair for your little butt and my big one.
Mm-hmm.
Down you go. But I do think that the Asian carp since they eat the same things, I really think that that's probably an issue. But like I'm with you on the part that honest to God, Brian, and Doc and I've talked about this a little bit. I think that there needs to be studies done on shad population, on skipjack population, and not just in our area, all over, to make sure that we're not devastating as fishermen doing damage to the population of our fish, because those catfish that we fish for, not only catfish but crappie, bass, and all the other fish, they rely on the source of shad and skipjack and other bait fish to grow, because the Asian carp gets so big so fast, there's only a limited amount of time they could actually eat those. So I would like to see some of these conservation departments or DNRs, depending on what state you're in, what they call them, do some studies on bait fish as well as the catfish.
Yep, I'm with you there. I remember somebody here, it was a week or so after Winter Blues, somebody kind of threw together an estimation of the amount of anglers and the amount of skipjack and everything that was coming from Cumberland. I don't remember now. They come up with like 10,000 skipjack had been taken out of there in a week. Buddy, that's a lot of bait.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I paid attention, and I was reading that, and I was hoping that, you know, maybe somebody will follow up with maybe some accurate answers on, you know, skipjack populations. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm no biologist, but I sure want to do everything I can do to preserve the nature of our sport.
Yep, that's exactly right. And without the bait, we're not going to have We're not going to have fish, big fish, little fish, medium-sized fish. Doesn't make any difference. They all got to eat. So we don't want to do anything to devastate our population.
Right.
Before we get too carried away, I got a message from a guy on Facebook that he's having trouble getting in on YouTube. Did anybody else have trouble getting in on the show?
There's 141 in there right now.
Must not be having too much trouble, so it must be something on his end. All right, good enough.
I missed a question here. Hang with me a minute.
Absolutely.
Jeremy asked, do you ever bounce, drag, drift the river, or mostly anchor and fan out?
Mostly, I'm primarily an anchor fisherman. John Spatafor is supposed to kind of break me in on doing some bouncing this year. I've got to get a trolling motor for my boat. I do drag baits if I go to a lake or something. I just drift with the wind and use drift socks. Have really good luck doing it. I mean, I know it works. There's the back bouncing or whatever you call it in your area. I know everybody's got a different name for it, but the walking baits, it's effective, and I got to get on board with that, or I'm gonna get left in the dust worse than I already do. So I don't know. I'm old school, if that's what you want to say, or whatever. I have a lot of, I do all right anchor fishing, so that's primarily what I do right now.
You get on that river very much with old Boomer, you'll be back bottom bouncing, or you'll watch him, one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Well, John, it's bad. He hates throwing an anchor, so. Yeah,
I do too. As far as I'm concerned, these days, other than when I fish with Doc, because he always puts me on good fish, and we catch flatheads. But if it's just me going out, other than if I break down, I have no need for an anchor.
Yeah. Well.
But this time of the year, right now, if you're an anchor fisherman, this is your time.
Mm-hmm. This is my favorite time of the year, and I'm getting punished with the ice that's in the river. I mean, you got a lot of guys that put their boats up, winterize them. My boat don't know what that means. I winterize it every weekend when I pull it out of the river.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I love it when the football game's on and everybody's home watching that, and I'm on the river and got, you can run 20 or 30 miles a lot of times and maybe see a boat or two, maybe some goose hunters or something, but you can it's peaceful and the fish go crazy.
And this time of the year, Lake the Ozarks, just about like that. Not quite, but
yep.
Them guys, they go to them lake houses and they go party and watch football, and that just leaves more water for the rest of us.
That's right. Yep.
So, speaking of Lake of the Ozarks, I know for a fact that you was at the lake yesterday.
Yeah, Boomer and I went down, and we could have had a better trip, and we could have had a worse trip. But we went. We caught a few fish. Boomer actually, I'll make a long story short. We were waiting on the fog to burn off, so we just smashed up into the rocks. And Boomer caught a small, 8 or 9 pound blue, and he had one rod that was just sitting there. We think it was a flathead. By the way, it was just a cold water flathead bite is what it looked like. It would just barely move the rod tip. He kept saying it was the boat, and then it started pulling a little bit more. And, we decided it wasn't the boat moving, but long story short, all 3 of my rods was hung up in the trees. And when his went down, he set the hook on it, and it pulled back. It was a good fish. And we decided we would back off of that bluff and see if we could get the fish up out of the trees. After I broke all mine off and we got the boat right over the top of where his line was going straight down, we actually marked the fish, and you could see it right there stuck in the tree. I was going to take a picture, but with the heat of the moment, we didn't. But we actually marked the fish that he was hung up in the tree with. I mean, I don't know. it was good fish. That's all I can say. 30, 40, maybe pounds, something like that. So,
Well,
we ran into quite a bit of ice on the lake. The backs of the coves were froze. We couldn't get exactly everywhere we wanted to, but we had plenty of water to fish. We couldn't find active fish. The ones we did find, we kind of chalked it up to they were probably full from eating shad from underneath the ice back in a cove. There's a pretty good shad kill going on right now. Uh-oh. Boomer.
Now
these guys are already pounding us.
They are. We might as well make her happen, Doc.
All right. Okay. So I figured out a way to do this, Lyle.
All right, buddy.
So, Brian, give me a number from 1 to 10.
Ooh-wee.
How about a 7?
A 7 it is.
1.
1. I got it, Lyle.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. I figured out how we're going to give this away in chat.
Okay.
So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the winner is Rob Gregg.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Rob Gregg in chat. Is he still in chat? You still there, Rob? I want to make sure this thing worked. I figured out how to grab all these people in chat.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I used random.org and just went there. Yeah, good. All right, cool. All right, now what were we talking about before we had to? Oh, do the spin the wheel there.
Yeah, you got to spin it. Well,
yeah, we got to see what Rob wins. I'm not used to doing it this way.
I'm not as good at spinning as Cindy, but it'll work.
That's for sure.
It ain't like I haven't spun it before. Hooker's terminal tackle. Reaper hooks.
Awesome.
Man, what a great sponsor they've been to us. Hooker's Terminal Tackle has probably given away more prizes rig wrap wheel than any other sponsor that has been a part of our show since we started spinning the wheel. They give away stuff, and I talk to them all the time, and they're proud to be a part of what we do. And great products, great people to deal with. If you guys haven't tried their products and you don't win it on our show, please contact them guys and give them a shot. They got the Reaper hooks, and what's the other one they got, Doc?
Is it Mad Catter?
Mad Catters. And then they picked up the ones that
Demon Dragons had.
Exactly. And great people to deal with. Always got good prizes. They run them not only on our show, they run them other places. They do giveaways on their websites. And just great people to deal with. James Arwood is a super guy. He's got a lot of products. He's got Demon Dragons. He's got hooks.
Mine came today. Got my Demon Dragons today.
3.0s.
3.0.
They're bad.
Man, these things are loud.
Yes, they are. Now, the point of the story is these guys give away all these prizes on this wheel, and they also give prizes away in our chat. Please consider our sponsors when you go to buy products. Without these guys, we couldn't have a prize wheel. We couldn't give away stuff in chat. They're great people. If they wasn't great people, they wouldn't be a part of Catfish Weekly. We think the world of James and everybody on the wheel, but James has went above and beyond. He's given away a lot of hooks. So when next time you're making a hook order, give James a call. See if he's got what you need. He'll hook you up.
And to add to that, a lot of those names on that wheel supply, giveaway prizes for the tournaments. And
That's right.
Personally thank every one of them for what they're doing.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Well, I know Rob will try them hooks out. He'll love them if he's not already tried them out. Hey, you never know, Brian. You and he might get to go help him test them babies out.
There you go.
You guys live pretty close, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. We're probably 45 minutes apart, something like that.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Hey, well, let me jump in here real quick. I want to do a shout out. I saw something on Facebook that I really thought highly of, and that was Ryan Lawrence. I'm going to give him a shout out. He had a contest where he's taking a veteran out on the boat. And I don't remember the gentleman that won it, but he's going to take him out for a day of fishing. I thought that was pretty awesome.
That is amazing. That's one of the better things that you can do is take one of our veterans out, or active military guys, which reminds me, that is a great thing that he done. A great thing.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
That is, but don't forget the Fishing for Freedom in Quincy, Illinois tournament's coming up. One of my favorites. I know that we talked about that. Brian contacted me last week and wanted some information on that. And I understand that you're going to fish that this year, Brian.
I am. I'm looking forward to it. I contacted them, and it took them a little while to get back with me, but yep, I've got all the information that I needed from them, and I'm going to sign up on February 1st and give it a shot. So,
Rob Gregg says you're his good luck charm, man.
I am. That's for sure. There's a little story that goes with
that. Well, I gotta ask you, how is it spending the day in the boat with old Boomer?
Oh, it's nonstop entertainment.
I guarantee it. It'd have to be. It's such a hoot to be around. Him and I visit whenever we see each other at events and stuff. And we planned trips last year and it fell through and different things come up. But we're going to make it happen this year. He's a blast to be around. And we're going to have Boomer on the show here, I believe, in March.
Yep.
The last part of March. And old Boomer, he will be able to fill everybody in on the latest and greatest information on a lot of the areas on Lake Ozark if you're coming to the Catfish Weekly National Championship. And what we're going to try to do is pick his brain and just try to rape him of all information we can get out of him, how people can catch fish on that lake and get bait and all the stuff. That time of the year, Brian, you're very familiar with Lake of the Ozarks. The bait should be fairly easy to get, and the fishing should be hot.
Yeah, it should be. Usually, that time of year, if you've got anything of a graph, you'll find balls of shad. Good shad. 8, 10-inch shad, balls of them the size of a house.
That's right.
Yeah.
And people think when I say that, they think that I'm telling them stories. They probably believe you, Brian.
Yeah, it's the bait's usually just stupid easy down there usually. So,
hey, we got some more of your buddies that's online. The Mud Bum Media is on.
All right,
man, it's great to see them guys. We got a bunch of guys that's on here tonight. Dieter Melhorn's on. The Mud Bum guys, Danny Cow. Awesome to see you guys listening to our show. And again, this week, I want to thank Dieter for his little video that he done to remind everybody to watch Catfish Weekly. We never asked Dieter to do that, and believe me, I can't thank him enough for what he's done to help support our show. Dieter's a really good guy. Doc, I can't wait to see Dieter at the Catfish Conference. It's going to be a hoot.
I know. And it's only 32 days, 12 hours, 30 minutes, and 8 seconds away.
Brian, are you going to the conference?
Yeah, I sure am. I'm going to ride down with Boomer.
Oh, my God, you're a glutton for punishment, man.
I love that guy. I can't help it.
I know. I do, too. He's a super nice guy. People don't understand. We give old Boomer so much crap, but if you don't, he's giving it back to you. Yeah. So you might as well just lay it on out there and get it on out in front of everybody.
Yeah, if you don't give it to him, he thinks you're mad at him.
That's exactly right. You know, I told everybody about this sometime back when we come up from the Christmas deal at Cindy's family's, and he had talked about custard pies or some damn kind of pie she builds, and we called him up, and he met us at a convenience store and come down there and got that thing. And you know, every time you see Boomer, he's the same guy. He walks up and gives you a hug. You got to watch him; he squeeze you in too. But just a super guy to be around. Great fisherman. And we're going to get some information in March about Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, Boomer's very knowledgeable on Lake of the Ozarks. I mean, at times I've just to mess with him. If he's not with me, I'll take a picture of, you know, the bank somewhere and send it to him and say, where am I? And I think you could take a picture just about anywhere on Lake of the Ozarks and send it to him, and he'd know where he's at.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
And that lake's big.
Yeah, it is. People that's not been to the Lake of the Ozarks, when they take a look at the map and see, what is it, 80-some miles from one end of the Lake of the Ozarks to dam?
80 something, yeah.
It's a long ways, and there's a lot of fish in that lake. There's a lot of good fish in that lake.
They're there.
Yes, sir. You just got it. Like I say, I've told everybody, and I'm sure you'll verify this, Brian. You have to sort through the little ones to find the good ones, but the good ones are there.
And sometimes the good ones will bite and make you think they're not a good one.
Yeah, that's correct. That's it. That's exactly right. But it's going to be a lot of fun down there. We're going to have a lot of people. We're going to have some good prizes and a bunch of stuff. And the Lake of the Ozarks got everything you want, so bring your families, because there's every kind of motel that you can imagine, every kind of place to eat that you can imagine. There's entertainment going on that time of the year for families. So, you know, if you want to take the kids or the wife out and do something else, there's all kinds of stuff there. So it's going to be a great time.
Yep. All right, another question. Brian, do you ever use a flapper style bait for blues or flats?
A what style?
Flapper style.
You mean, I guess they mean the way you cut your bait? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I try to mix it up and see if one thing works, you know, performs better. You know, I might throw a small, what I call a tenderloin cut out of a bait, and then a big head, or maybe even a whole bait, just, and cut it on an angle, or old Mike Rybolt, you got to bullfrog that bait. That's what he calls it. So anybody knows Mike, they'll laugh. So, but I think, that's pretty much what that cut is. It just kind of makes a flapping bait, I guess. Yes, I do. I don't know that it works any better. I mean, some days you might think it does, and then next time you might, it might not. So, yeah. My primary thing on bait is fresh. And I don't know, there's a lot of guys around here that know me well that they'd say, yeah, if I don't have fresh bait, I just won't go to the river.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. There's so many guys do good on frozen skipjack. I am not one of those guys. Maybe it's a confidence thing. I just don't have any confidence in it, but I'm putting it in the water where I would put a fresh bait, and they don't go. So.
Well, from the fish I've seen you catch, I can completely understand why you're using it, and it's working.
Right. Yeah. Well, time on the water means a lot, and I didn't get that much time on the water last year. I would go fishing in tournaments. I didn't put in the effort, and it shows. I mean, you got to have time on the water to figure things out, and the river, Missouri River especially, it changes daily. I mean, it can raise or drop 3 or 4 inches, or just a steep rise or fall, and just a little bit. It just changes every day.
That's exactly right. We have 74 likes on our show. Thank you guys so much. The likes and subscriptions and the joining of our Facebook page means more to us than you'll ever know. And it doesn't matter about the perks as much as the fact that you guys actually spend your time watching the show and you're liking it. Makes us think that whether we are or not, we're doing the right thing. So thank you very much.
We probably better spin the wheel again, Doc.
All right, let's do it. Give me another number. 1 to 5.
4.
Your turn, Lyle.
All right. We have 258 people in the rig wrap prize wheel pool tonight. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The winner is Terry McCoy. Terry is out of Texas. There's a bunch of the McCoy boys down there. I'm going to go the other way, Doc. What do you think?
All right, that'll work.
I might pick something I shouldn't.
Wasn't the dog, was it?
No, she's over here laying down on a sweatshirt of mine. Survivor high-speed pickup unit. Terry, you have won a Survivor high-speed pickup unit from Crusher Marine. Be sure to send Robert a message and tell him you won that prize on Catfish Weekly. I promise you, if you haul fish in a live well, you're going to love that product.
Robert was in chat earlier. I don't know if he's still there or not.
Doc, you and I have talked about this a lot of times. That is probably one of the greatest inventions for preserving the life of fish, whether you're in a tournament or not, that has been on the market for 20 years that the catfish industry did not know about until what, a year and a half ago?
Yep.
It is an outstanding product. And for you guys that are going to the Catfish Conference, if you want one, you want to see what they look like, I will have them with me down there.
Robert's going to be there also.
I'm
Maybe
not sure.
not. I thought I saw his name on the thing.
I thought he was. One of our great sponsors, Offshore Tackle, will be there. Can't wait to see Nick and them guys. It'll be a blast.
Oh, Mud Bun Median. Get with Lyle. And,
you let me know what you want to do on the prize wheel, and I'll make it happen. I promise.
We will put you up there.
We
Appreciate
would love
it.
to
Thank
have
you.
Mud Bums on the rig wrap prize wheel. Thank you so much. That is an outstanding gesture. Thank you.
I actually don't have one of the Survivors yet. I don't even know if they make one for the G3 Sportsman 200.
Does it come out? Does your intake come out the back of the boat?
My intake or my drain?
Your intake.
Oh,
come directly out of the back of the boat.
Yeah.
Then I got one that'll fit it.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, the Mud Bums Gator Tracks boat has one, and Boomer and Willie and I fished that tournament in Glasgow, which we actually won it. But that thing was insane. That Survivor,
unbelievable.
Several times I opened that lid up coming down the river when we was headed in for weigh-in, just watching that thing, and it's amazing. It's awesome. I'm going to have one if they make it for my boat.
It's a great product, and I promise you, I'll have one that'll fit that thing as long as it don't go directly down out of the bottom of your boat. If it comes out the back, I can make it happen.
Yeah, it comes out the back.
We're set. You're gonna love it, man.
Yep.
Robert designed that, has them things made. They're durable, they're tough, they're inexpensive, and they save the life of a lot of fish.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dave says he's got one that works on his boat. Oh, it won't work on his boat. He's got an Alpha Cat. If I remember, if they're like the Monster Cats, the intake for those goes straight out the bottom of the boat, and there's no way to hook them up. I run into that issue on a Monster Cat also.
Okay. It draws water from the bottom up.
Right.
I got you.
But now I have one on. I have one actually on my tracker unit, and you can't make the unit go below the bottom of the boat, and it still gets enough water in there. You can watch it circulate in the live well while you're going down the river.
Huh.
Pretty cool, man. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm going to have one for mine then, if it'll fit.
It'll fit. I promise you.
Yeah, it should.
I'll help you put it on.
That sounds like a plan to me.
only takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Come on, you guys. I know somebody's got to have some questions for Brian about how
I'm
to
trying
catch
to
them
keep up
fish
with
on
it.
Lake Ozark.
Mud bums got in there, and then everybody just started. They just kind of stopped.
Tim Owensby says his survivor works on his 240. By the way, Tim, congratulations to your wife for a great deer she shot down there the other day. Teresa Owensby got her first buck. Awesome pictures. You guys done really good. Brian, what do you got planned for this year? You going to be in a lot of big tournaments this year?
Yeah, I'm planning on it. I
Good.
usually fish right around 16 tournaments a year, I guess. So
Well, you stay busy.
yeah.
Here's a question. Didn't mean to jump in there, but I'm going to try to grab them as I see them. What depth of water do you normally fish when you're anchored up?
That depends on the time of the year. You know, if it's in the summertime, you fish a channel swim, you might fish 2 or 3 foot of water to 20 foot of water. It just varies. Like this time of year, in the wintertime, usually you get in behind the dikes on the river and fish the deep holes. The fish usually head for the holes in the wintertime. They'll kind of group up, it seems like. And so just various depths, about any depth you want to fish, you can pretty much catch a fish.
What are the typical water conditions? What are the typical water temps on Lake of the Ozarks in early May when the national championship is?
Oh, it should be in the. And if Boomer's on here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess it's going to be in the mid to upper 50s.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You use floats on your rigs when you're anchored?
Yes, not as not 100% of the time, and I might not have one on all my rods. I may have one on there. In my opinion, the slow, and when I say slow water, a mile an hour current or less on the Missouri River.
Yeah, that's slow. That's for sure.
And I'll use some floats, but in my opinion, if you're on an outside rock bank bend and you're in smoking current, we're talking 6 miles an hour maybe. I don't think it does a lot. In fact, I think it makes it do a lot of twisting. And with debris coming down on underneath the water level, if you get a stick that hooks a float, it'll end up in all your lines because it's just going to drag it around. So,
does Lake of the Ozark have current?
At times it does, yes. If they're running, pulling water out of Truman or letting water out of the lake, out of the Ozarks, it'll have some current.
Yeah, Boomer's getting in there answering some of the questions too.
Yep.
Yeah.
55 to 60, he says on, and yeah, I would agree with that. That sounds about right.
That national championship tournament, guys, the fishing should be absolutely on fire.
You ought to be able to catch anything you want to catch down there. That right about then, yeah.
I'd say you could go out and catch 50 fish easy in a day without trying to.
When I tell people we go up into the lake for a fun day of fishing and catch 30, 40 fish, they look at me like I'm goofy, but it can be done there without a lot of trouble. And yes, Max Drag Fishing, I will be fishing a bunch of the Twisted Cat outdoor tournaments this year.
Now, on the lake, we do use floats and the Demon Dragons, and they do work on Lake of the Ozarks, hands down. Boomer has them. We've used them down there.
Boomer's got more toys than I do, and that bothers me just a little bit.
I tell you what, he's like a little kid in the candy store when it comes to fishing equipment.
Yes, he is.
Where do you go?
I gotta get something to drink. I'm thirsty.
Oh. Joseph Heron wants to know what kind and size hooks do you use?
I use the Team Catfish 8/0 double actions for everything. That's the only hook I use. I've had really good luck with them. When I switched to those hooks, my catch rates went up on catching fish. They work in every situation. I drift with them, anchor on the river. They're a great hook.
Okay. Do you prefer mono or braid?
I am hard-headed in the fact that I like mono.
Yes, a man in my own heart.
You guys are killing me.
I like my mono.
40-pound big game.
Yep.
And I haven't caught the biggest fish in the world by no means, but I've caught 4 in the 80s, and my biggest fish on rod and reel is 84.5. And 40-pound mono it's more than enough to catch, them big fish.
Thank you, Bottom Dollars Outdoors. We appreciate it very much. I cannot go back to
you guys
mono.
are throwing you under the bus.
Yeah, I know. I can't go back. I can't go back to mono after going to braid. I do not like line that stretches. I never did. That was always my complaint about monofilament line. If you let the action of the rod and the drag on your reel do its job, there is no reason to ever have stretch. So that's my personal opinion. And when they come out with braid, man, I was in lust. I'm not kidding you. It's to me, that's the greatest thing that ever happened to fishing, because I don't have to worry. And without stretch, when you are hung up, it's a lot easier for an old man to break it off.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it really is. Because I've walked back and forth from one end of the boat to the other, and that line still be stretching. You can't get her broke off, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that's for sure. When first time I put some braid on some reels, I don't know. There's a few guys that have seen me do it. I don't know. A lot of people give me a lot of crap about the way I set the hook. Well, I swing for the fence. And, I was breaking 60-pound leaders, mono leaders with that braid, and I would get so mad. And another downfall, in my opinion, everybody has their opinion, but when you get hung up in that, or if your drag's too tight and you get a good bite, that line digs down into the spool, man, that's very annoying.
It is. Yeah, it is. It has to be really tight on there. And I used to put a backing of monofilament on all my reels before I spooled the braid on it. And now and I don't remember where I learned it from, but I put a couple of wraps of black electrical tape on the spool, and that keeps it from spinning also. So it works really well for me. But yeah, it does. And keeping it tight is, I'll tell you another little secret here that I found that works for me, that I learned from Chris Cordia. When I spool up a new rod and reel with line on it, especially braid, I will go to the river and let all that line out and then reel it up wet. That seems to make a huge difference on braid line.
I've heard of guys using an empty Gatorade bottle and fill it half full of water and just let it float down, and then it's got that water in it, and that puts extra pull, and it'll tighten it up too. So
that's exactly right. And I have actually a broken fishing rod. I bought a 3,500 yard spool of 80-pound Suffolk 836, and I have it mounted on that reel or on that broken rod. And the little deal that I bought that I thought was so cool that you could mount fishing line on had tensioning springs and all the stuff on it. My big spools won't fit on that, so I took all the working parts off of that and incorporated it into this broken fishing rod, and I set that up on a stand. Actually, what it is a little short step ladder Cindy uses, and I reel that up, and I can apply as much tension to that as I want, and that gives me a starting point when I go out and get the line wet and reel it back up. With usually use an 8 or 10 ounce sinker.
Yeah. They want to know what kind of rods you use, Brian.
I'm using the rail splitters that the mud bums have out. I've had them about 4 months now. I've caught some 60 and 70-pound fish on them. Love them. I no ifs, ands, or buts. The reel seats are good. They clean up easy. The handles, what I was having a problem with some other rods I was using, the reel seats were spinning in them, and I wasn't getting the answers that I wanted from the manufacturer. Had problems with the cork, breaking in the rod holders, from the fish, and so I'm trying the rail splitters, and so far so good. I can't complain one bit.
That's awesome. Well, I'm quite sure Doc and I know all them guys. We spend some time with them. They're a great bunch of guys, and I cannot imagine them not having a product that is not totally
Exactly.
quality. Now, before we get on, I'm still getting messages for people that wants in on the spin on the wheel. I want to go over something right quick and let everybody know. And I thought, Doc, we talked about this before. At 6 o'clock on Monday night, we're done taking entries for that week. I can't keep adding entries after 6 o'clock and set the show up and send the messages and stuff I need to our guests like Brian and Doc and everybody to get them on the show with me and get everything set up. So at 6 o'clock on Monday night, it does you no good to tell me you want to be in it because I'm shutting her down. And then at that time, they're loaded up on random.org, and that's how we pull up our people that draw for the prizes is through random.org. But you got to get them in. You got a week to do it, so you got to be able to get them in before 6 o'clock on a Monday night. And when you send me messages right now, we're doing a show. I'm not taking time out to copy and paste that to them because it's just too late. I'm sorry, fellas. You have to understand.
Since you're talking about it, we might as well spin it, huh?
All right. Let's go ahead and give it away in chat. So give me a number from 1 to 5, Brian.
3.
1, 2, and 3. And the winner is Jeremy Hedges.
Jeremy won something here a while back, did he? That's awesome.
At least it wasn't Rob Gregg again.
I do want to tell everybody that if you go to the Catfish Weekly website, there is a post on there about winners. And please understand that you're only allowed to enter once per week, so it doesn't do you any good. Now, I'm sure some of them get by and I don't catch them all. But once you're entered, and there's no sense of sending it in again because if I catch it, I will only leave you entered once. And once every 30 days, that way everybody has a shot. All that stuff's posted on the Catfish Weekly website. You guys want me to spin?
Spin the wheel. Let's see what Jeremy won.
All right.
Cindy's going to probably fire you when she gets back.
She probably will. She's a lot better looking than I am, so I know she gets more likes on that.
That's for damn sure.
Look at here. Hooker, terminal tackle, reaper hooks. James R. Woods, you are the man.
Wow, he's getting pounded tonight.
He is. And I'm sure he's sitting there smiling.
Yeah, he has no issues whatsoever. I know that one night he went 4 for 4.
He did, and then when we done our one of the shows, he was at I think it was our 200 show. He was adding at the end of the show, giving us more stuff to give away. And
yeah,
people, you can't beat a sponsor like that. Please check out our sponsors when you're getting ready to buy your products. It's just absolutely great that these guys do it.
Dieter, he says, I posted the dang reminder videos and I forgot to enter.
Dave, I understand, and I seen yours, and when you send me messages like that, I'll go back and check them. But even though I'm liable to miss one, when you got 200 or 300 people that's entered in there, I run down through there, and if I miss one or something, I want everybody to be in this. You know, Doc and I talked about this numerous times. We want everybody to enter the contest. We would like to see everybody at some point win on it. But just remember that there's other people out there. And if you won in the last 30 days, let the other guys have a shot. Because believe me, that copying and pasting, I'm getting really good at copying and pasting them names of that thing.
Yeah.
Really am.
Yeah, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it live in the chat too.
That's
So
awesome, man. I'm glad you figured that out.
yeah, it took me a while, but I figured it out. I thought I'd run a test run on it here tonight, and so far it's working out real well.
Heck yeah, man.
You need to try it again.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it again. Hang on, man. You caught me off guard there.
I knew we'd have a blast with you on here, Brian. I just knew it.
Well, I can't heckle him from chat because I can't keep up with that and talk to you. I got to heckle him however I can.
I got a challenge for you, buddy. You know, I have a challenge for you.
What's that?
I would love to have you on our show again. If you can get in the boat with Boomer on Lake Ozark and do a live show from the Lake of the Ozark with Boomer Wilson.
Well, to be right honest with you, I talked to him about that, and we were going to do that, but the fishing just wouldn't allow it. I mean,
we can wait till it picks up.
Yeah, we're going to get on him. Yeah, we'll do that for sure.
I didn't know if you could stand to be in a boat with him do a whole show or not.
I could live with him.
Yeah.
His wife probably wouldn't like it, but his kids are scared of me.
Doc,
Give me a number from 1 to 5, Brian.
Did you see
4.
McClure?
What's that, Lyle?
Did you see the message from Kenny McClure?
Not yet. I haven't. I haven't got that far yet.
Well, you go ahead with what you're doing. Kenny McClure has given away sinkers the last 2 weeks in a row, and he's given away sinkers again.
All right.
Who don't want sinkers?
What number? What number, Brian?
Oh, 4. Number 4.
4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the winner is Big C Catfishing.
Big C Catfishing. If you will get a hold of Kenny McClure on Facebook and tell him you won his sinkers on the Catfish Weekly show, he will make sure you get them. And what he's been doing is been giving away 5 pounds of sinkers. That's a great prize. I can't think of anybody that catfishes that don't need a sinker.
That's right.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of people in there.
There is. We still got 150 people watching the show.
Daggone.
That's pretty good. I knew we'd have a lot of fun with you, Brian. I didn't know how much, but you know, whenever we can get on old Boomer, and the thing is, we can get on old Boomer, and all he can do is post in chat. He can't do nothing else about it. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll definitely be spending some time on the lake, especially as it gets closer to that tournament. You know, we're going to do a lot of pre-fishing together, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll do some live feeds, you know, some live Facebook feeds, whatever.
You know, I'll never forget one of the early shows. I don't know, it's probably a couple of years ago. Brent Riddle did a show from his garage in his boat. Yeah. And it was so cold in there, he was steaming out of his mouth as he would talk during the show. But it was a great show. Brent was a great guest, and he had a lot of cool information. And, you know, we need to get Brent back on here one of these days. He's just a really good guy. Dave says you got a lot of bloopers.
Who's he talking about?
You. Sounds like there's a story there.
I think those are probably bleeps. Bleep.
Well, now, since Cindy's not here, I'll go ahead and tell you guys about this. We do a lot of filming when we go out. We don't post all of it. Some of it's for our own entertainment. Some of it we do post. But with Cindy in the boat, it's kind of like having Savannah Gerloff in a boat. There's a lot of beep, beep, beep.
I can attest to that.
Doc has actually fished with us a few times. Man, we have some great time with Doc. do a lot of good in tournaments a lot of times, but we have an enjoyable time. And when we pre-fish and Lynn jumps in the boat with us, it is a super time.
And that's what it's all about. You know, everybody wants to win, but it's just time on the water. It's such a good stress reliever. I mean, you can make it stressful, but
why?
It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just bored into my bloodstream, and I just love the fish.
You're right,
James. I love being on water.
Whether it's catching bait or catching blues or whatever, just if I'm fishing, I'm happy.
That's right. You know, I said years ago, if bass fishermen would go and have skipjack tournaments instead of bass, they would quit fishing for bass just to catch those skipjack. They're so much fun to catch.
That's for sure.
They really are. They're a blast. But, you know, I enjoy going out, and Cindy is learning different things. She helps me when we're getting bait. Now, there's places she will not put the boat in where I need to get shad or moon eye, or when we're throwing a cast net. She just won't put a boat in those places. She's not comfortable with doing it, and I don't push her to do it. But she's getting better at it. She learns very quickly. Having a partner, whether it be Doc Lang or a Brian Saunders, or whether it be a Cindy Stokes, that sits there and helps run the boat, helps you load the boat, man, a partner like that you can't beat with a stick. And
you're right.
And if they can catch fish on top of it, home run.
Yep, that's for sure.
You know, and she's really good about it. You know, we have a great time. We go to Memphis. Doc and I and Cindy have fished that the last couple of years, and we have a blast. And we pre-fish with Lynn, and we don't always catch a lot of fish, but by gosh, we have a great time.
We have a good time. We see a lot of fish on the screen. We just can't get them to open their mouths up.
And there's days like that. Doesn't matter if you're on the Missouri River or if you're out in Ohio on one of your lakes. I mean, there's days they just don't bite. But when they do, it's okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm looking here to see if there's any more. I don't see any more.
If we got any more questions for him, you guys are missing a prime opportunity to get some information on Lake of the Ozarks. But it's closer it gets time. Maybe we get Brian back on here.
Dave Swearing wants to know, are you going to start talking more about the national championship a little more each week, hotels, et cetera, and et cetera?
Yes, we are. And it got so cold. We done a couple of videos from up there with a couple of the motels and Robbins Resort. Man, what a nice place. I would say that if you want a room at Robbins Resort, it would probably be a good idea to get it. It's basically across the cove from PB2. What a beautiful place to stay it is. And they have a covered dock with electricity on it where you can plug your boats in. The Grand Glaze Motel is the next one we'll be doing. The lady that is actually over that was sick when we was up there doing video. Now that the cold's kind of subsided a little bit, we got to get back up there and get with her. We're going to do some video work in there. We're going to talk to her about different things. We're trying to get set up to where we can get our captain's meeting in a spot. We're working with a couple of different places. I'd love to have it at one of the motels that are giving us discounts, but so many of those don't have a big enough room to do that. If you knew what the weather was going to be, you could say, well, we'll do it outside, or you know to get to a place to do it. We want to do a Calcutta, and Brian, as well as anybody, knows how good that Calcutta goes on with the Brunswick tournament, but we've got to have a place to do it, and people have to understand to do a Calcutta and a captain's meetings, we're going to have to start that at noon on Friday if we have the people turn out that we think we're going to have. You just have to, because that Calcutta takes a while, don't it, Brian?
Yes, it does.
But have you ever seen anything like the city of Brunswick get behind that event?
That's for sure. Them welcoming, that tournament with open arms, and it's great. There's people comes out of the woodwork that probably don't even fish, and just they go crazy. It's a lot of fun. The little bar there, you can bring your beer out on the street and have a beer, whatever. It's a really good time.
Brian, the first year that Cindy and I went up there, I didn't figure anybody knew us from Adam. We went out there, and I couldn't believe the people. They shut off a street, and the town people get out there in lawn chairs, and they're bidding on. Of course, they know all you local guys, but they didn't know us guys that just traveled up in there. And I thought, well, I'll buy us for $25, $30. Well, that didn't happen. I think they just bid on people because they showed up.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes it for a great event. And with some of the guys that we've got in this tournament, if they come up, we got guys like David Shipman and Larry Muse and a bunch of the big names. There's no telling by the way, don't know if he'll show up or not, but Bill Dance is qualified for the Catfish Weekly National Championship. Now, if Bill Dance shows up and he fished with Jeff Dodd and John Warden, could you imagine what that team would bring in a Calcutta?
Oh, that'd be stupid money, I'd say.
That'd be big bucks, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, people buy Bill Dance just because he's Bill Dance, but they don't understand Bill Dance can catch catfish.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
He can put them in the boat, and he'll come over and watch you catch them, won't he, Doc?
Yeah, he just comes over to see what's going on.
What a great ambassador for our sport.
Another question. Are you willing to share your favorite May fishing area at LOZ?
Well, in May?
In May.
In May. I'd say about anywhere shallow water would be a good spot.
And by shallow water, how deep is shallow water?
As long as his fins ain't sticking out of the water, you'll be all right.
Okay.
People don't understand that when we fish shallow water on Lake Ozark, it's 2 or 3 foot, ain't it, Brian?
Yeah, or even less. I mean, up to a foot probably.
Yep, I'd go for that.
Yep.
Dustin Fall wants to know, he says, I've asked 3 times. We're getting there, Dustin. It's hard to keep up with all these questions. What is the best blooper?
The best blooper.
Yeah, that's what he says. What is the best blooper?
Bill Dance blooper?
I don't know. Either that or Brian and
I don't know about Brian's blooper, but I'm interested in finding out about it. In my opinion, the best Bill Dance blooper is when the snake fell out of the tree on him, because there's nobody hates snakes worse than me. And I sit here and just about pee myself when he's fighting that snake off of him. That's hilarious.
No, Boomer jumped in there. He said, no, he's asking Brian.
Oh.
Thanks, Boomer. Good looking out. Probably be falling out of the boat or something good like that. Be my guess.
Okay, you got to fill us in on it. What happened? Boat slide off of the trailer and hit the deck, or what?
No. Somebody was I was fishing. No, we were actually catching bait, and the throttle in my old boat was really easy to move. And I was standing on the front deck and said, okay, back up a little bit. Well, a little bit, and to them, and a little bit to me was pretty, different. And they floored it, all the way wide open in reverse, and I went straight out the front. Yeah. But if you go in a boat enough, eventually you're going to fall out.
That's right.
All right. So what's the deal about probably when I called a couple of bass fishermen cutie pooties Sunday? But cutie patooties.
Cutie patootie.
Yeah.
Well, bass fishermen at Lake of the Ozarks, for some reason, think they need to go 90 miles an hour into the cove, be there for 3 seconds. I guess they throw a jig in a brush pile for 3 seconds, and then they go 90 miles an hour out of the cove. And we were graphing an area yesterday, and as we was graphing along, this bass boat comes, I mean, just right by us. They were throwing their baits at the bank or whatever they were doing. And Boomer said, "How you doing, cutie patootie?"
Oh man.
Doc, can you imagine being around these two when they're out there together in a boat? It got to be a hoot, man.
Oh well, I'll tell you what. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll have a good time at the lake. Now, I promise you. You guys will enjoy your trip to Missouri, won't you, Brian?
Yeah. It's Lake the Ozarks is a great lake.
It is.
I'm not kidding, guys. 50 fish a day that time of the year is not out of the question.
Nope, it's not. Joseph Herndon, how you qualify for the Catfish Weekly National Championship is you have to finish in the top 5 of a qualifying event somewhere in the United States to be qualified. And if you fish a tournament series, no matter where you are or what it is, get with your tournament director, have them contact us, and we will set them up to make their events a qualifying event. They can do one event a year. They can do every event they hold a year. Cost them $100, and you're in the top 5 of each event that they make qualifiers will be qualified as long as they're not already qualified. And you know what, Doc? I got to give a shout out to our old buddy down in Mississippi. I've been having problems keeping all of the entries straight. You know, some guys they win from one tournament to the next tournament, and some of them are in there 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I got a message, and I went in and set all those up on a spreadsheet. And it eliminates that issue. And when we get the information from Jody and Daniel, we're going to have right at 600 people qualified for our event. That's a huge number for a first-time deal.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many states are involved with this, but it's a lot. I anticipate it being bigger for next year. As many of you know, I do not want to run tournaments. If I had them, I wouldn't have given Twisted Cat Outdoors to Alex Nagy, which is doing a super job running Twisted Cat Outdoors. And I don't want to run this one. I just wanted to get it off the ground. If we get the participation, it looks like we're going to be fishing it next year if I can get qualified, because I don't want to run tournaments. I'm too old for that crapola. Right, Doc?
Yes, you are. Unfortunately, you're younger than me.
Yeah, but that's not that much. Not that much. But that's how you qualify. So if your tournament directors are not involved with the Catfish Weekly National Championship, tell them to get a hold of us. We'll hook them up, get them set up, and you too can be qualified. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to let something out of the bag, Doc. We've already put in for our dates for the 2019 Catfish Weekly National Championship. And I've put in for a 3-day event where the first day all qualifiers will be allowed to fish. The second day, 50% of the field will come back, and the third day, 50% of that field will come back. Now, Brian, what do you think of that?
That's cutting it down. So you're saying on the last day it'll be a quarter of the field?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to qualify. Say there's 600 people qualified. 600. Well, we'll use 400 teams as an example.
Right.
Okay. So you fish on a Friday. You come back Saturday with the top 100. You come back Sunday with the top 50 teams.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you're on good fish, it'd sure make you feel good. You know,
if you're not on good fish the first day and you make the top 100, you better get on them that second day.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
That lake is so full of fish that if you get in it and you get 5 fish, chances are you're going to be in the top 100. It's so full of fish.
Yeah.
And regardless, we're going to have a good time. We're also going to be doing live shows down there and feeds down there. And you're going to have guys like Brian and Boomer and the Mud Bum guys. We're going to have so many people down there just hanging out. We've got some really good people that have contacted us recently that didn't qualify, whether they tried or not. I have no way of knowing, but have contacted me and said, hey, if you need help, I'm going to come down and help you out. And for example, even one guy that was qualified, a buddy of mine, Jason Jackson, said he wasn't sure that he would be able to fish the tournament, but he wanted to know if we needed any help. And I said, Jason, I'd be proud to have you down here helping with the tournaments. Jason's a big old boy. But there's one thing I want to let everybody know. We don't want any discrepancies. These guys mostly are volunteers that are going to be running this tournament. If you have an issue, you contact me. I don't want you getting on these guys because they're doing it for nothing. They're trying to help us out. And we need these guys to help us put on a quality show. And if we want the best we can make. Jody Harrison and Daniel Parsons are planning on coming up and running the weigh-in for us. It's going to be a great event. Going to be a great event.
Hey, let's spin that wheel one more time.
Let's do it.
I was thinking the same thing.
Great minds think alike.
That's exactly right. Pick us out a number, Brian.
Between what and what?
1 and 5 would be great.
2.
1, 2. And the winner is Brian Mears.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
You was number 2, buddy. Number 2. Brian Mears. We're going to spin this wheel and see what we can give you. I think I got her adjusted pretty close, Doc.
Yeah.
Catfish Weekly t-shirt.
There you go.
Let me write that down. All right. Brian, I'm going to include that in the package that you have coming in the mail already. So you need to let me know, though, what size that you want. It'll make it a lot easier because if I guess, I'll never fit you. Ain't gonna happen. Brian Saunders, I cannot thank you enough for being on the show. It has absolutely been a hoot. I knew it would be. We're going to get you back on here, and if you and Boomer can make one come off on the lake fishing, man, that'd just be awesome.
I'm sure we can pull that off.
That'd be great. You guys are young enough, you know how to do all the phone tricks, and Doc's pretty good at them phone tricks too. I'm not really good at them. My theory on phones is you're supposed to answer them, dial out on them, but I am getting better at it. You know, I done a live feed. We was down in Memphis, and I couldn't believe in a matter of minutes how many people was on that thing. It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun, and we'll do some more of that. But thank you so much for being a part of our show tonight. It means a great deal to me and Doc that you would spend a Monday night with us on here, and we've absolutely had a blast with you.
Yep, I had a great time. Thanks for having me. And once again, I'd like to personally thank all the sponsors, you know, for the show and the Rig Wrap Wheel. Even some of them that aren't on there that donate for tournaments and stuff. It's great. I appreciate it.
It is. It's awesome that they do that. And Brian, why don't you go through your sponsors, the people that help you along the way, and thank them for while you've got a chance.
Bottom Dwellers has done a lot for me. He's a great guy. He really, I was really impressed with what he did for Winter Blues. You know,
absolutely.
His customer service is great. I can't say enough good about David and Team Catfish. They have outstanding products. The mud bums, the rail splitters, that's just awesome products, awesome people. I'd like to touch on the mud bums. Crash is supposed to be going down for the big the meeting down. What is that, on the 9th? That's coming up.
9th of February. Yeah.
Yeah, the 9th of February. I know Crash is going down for that. Great guy. He's very adamant about protecting the resources. Hats off to him.
What a great spokesman he is too.
The man's beautiful with words. That's all I can say.
He is. He's
very knowledgeable.
He's just like all the rest of them guys. They're so much fun to be around. And I'm going to throw this out here. I don't mean to interrupt you, Brian, but when you guys get to the Catfish Conference, stop by the Mud Bums booth. I promise you these guys will impress you. They are such great people to visit with, and they're just super nice guys.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, again, Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate you being on the show and everything. And the next time that you're out in the boat with Boomer, try to keep him in line for us.
I gave up on that a long time ago.
That's probably really good.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. Doc, have you got any tip for the night?
Yes, I do. This time of year, most everybody's going out. They're starting to buy their hooks and stuff like that, getting their, all their stuff gathered up. One of the things that I do is when I buy my hooks, I take them out of the package and I check the sharpness of each hook that's in that package before I snell it up. One of the easiest ways to do that is to just take that point and put it on your nail and just drag it along. If it's sharp,
hold it up a little higher.
Hold it up like that.
Yeah.
Yep. So just drag it along your nail. Now it should grab within just, if you have to go out and go to the end of your thumb, it's going to be a bad day.
That's
so
right.
Because that hook's going to go in there, and if it's sharp, it's going to lay right into your thumb, and then you're going to learn how to remove a circle hook from your finger. Okay. So the other thing that I do, and a lot of people miss this, and I'm going to show it to you. I inspect the eyes right here where the line goes through. Now this is a good hook. You see that right there? I'm trying to get it on the camera. Now let me show you a bad hook that I found. See that gap right there between the shank? That eye was not completely closed. That could be due to the tooling or whatever they use. Now, what a lot of people do is they'll grab a pair of pliers or a pair of vice grips and they try to crank down on this thing. I would advise you not to do that because you're going to leave little nicks and stuff on that eye. What I would suggest that you do is take a vise that you have on your workbench, put a set of smooth jaws in it, then take that eye and put it down in there and then clamp it up and tighten that up. It will move. You're not talking that far. It just looks like this hook didn't, tomorrow or in a couple of days, I'm going to take this thing down there and I'm going to put it in my vise. I'm going to tighten it up. That'll pull right in. You don't have to go very far, but that is a good tip on looking at your hooks, both your eyes and your hooks. That's Doc's tip for the night.
That's a great tip, Doc. And it doesn't matter what brand hook you use. At some point, you're going to run into one of those eyes that are not closed, and just close them up. Don't throw it away. There's nothing wrong with the hook. If it's sharp, then just go ahead and get you some smooth jaw vise and push them together. That's an awesome tip, Doc. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you leave that open and you snell that, it's going to cut it. It will cut it.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Guess what I got tonight, Doc?
What's that?
tournament results from getting hooked down in Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Sooner results are as follows: 120.18. First place, Whisker Fever, 75.36 pounds with big fish of 42.70. Second place was Chris Baldwin, a guide down there, 63.82 with big fish of 17.88. Third place was Forshee and Melanie, 53.34. Boys, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names. I'm doing the best I can here. 53.34 with big fish of 16.56. Fourth place, Catch and Release, 50.26 with a big fish of 28.50. Fifth place, Cat and Do, 50.26 with a big fish of 27.6. They went on down with several of them, but that's a great way in and a great way to start out 2018. Them guys played some pretty good fish, Doc.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm anxious about fishing Oklahoma and Texas. I'm planning on making a couple trips that way this year. I'm excited about it. I think we're going to have a really, really good time at some of those tournaments. And it's not always about the biggest fish in the world. If you catch one of the bigger fishes in the body of water that you're fishing, that's a home run. And if you do that and you do it consistently, you'll do well in tournaments.
Yep.
Man, what a great night we had with Brian tonight, Doc. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, we did. Boy, I'll tell you what, I hope these guys don't get tired, but here lately we've been going about an hour and a half. So yeah. I don't have a problem with it, but I know some of the guys got to, like myself, have to get up to go to work in the morning.
I know you need your beauty sleep.
Yeah, it takes a whole lot of beauty sleep for me.
Next week on Catfish Weekly, Terry Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
That ought to be a blast. Terry has a lot of YouTube videos on. It's going to be a lot of fun having him on here. We can talk to him about fishing the Ohio River. We can talk about bumping. We can talk about flatheads and blues. He catches all kinds of fish. He has a great YouTube channel. Be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about February 5th, Doc. Michael and Terry Littlejohn from Tawakoni, Texas, got two guides, a husband and wife team that guides down there. Both of them are guides. I've been talking with them guys about getting them on the show for some time, and I visited with Terry on the phone the other day, and they're going to be on the show the 5th of February. That is going to be a lot of fun. They put some monster fish in the boat. If you guys have ever seen any of their videos, you can attest to that. They've been doing a few live feeds. I actually went back and watched some of their shows. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we've got a lot of other stuff coming up. If Hervey is watching the show, or Steve Douglas, or Jeff Jones, or Jim Hopper, we need somebody on here to talk about the Catfish Conference. We need to make that happen. This is the single biggest event for the catfish industry that you're not fishing in that I'm aware of.
Yep.
It's going to be a hoot. There's going to be a lot of people down there. I anticipate it being as busy this year as it was last year, Doc.
Yeah. And it's only 32 days, 11 hours, 30 minutes, and 50 seconds away.
That's perfect, man. Jeremy Turner says he would like to hear more about bumping. We will make that happen. We'll get somebody on here besides Doc and I that bumps, and we'll tell you more about that. That's my favorite way to fish. I love doing it. Very, very good tactic. And if you don't bump in an area that you can, you need to figure it out. Dave Swearington says, let's get Marty and Savannah back on here. What a hoot they was.
Yeah, I can tell you how to almost lose a Black Horse custom-built rod real quick if you do not pay attention to what you're doing.
I'd pay good money if I go back to that day and get that on video.
Oh man, you thought I was going out of the boat too.
I did. I really did.
I was. I almost did. I was up on top of that motor.
Carl Wells, Terry Rogers will be on next week. Justin Thornton would be a great guest to have on here. He's a super nice guy. Got a great boat. And you're right, Matt Marshall. Justin Wolf, he is a bumping machine.
Tips on planer boards. I can do that.
Yep, love planer boards.
I can do planer boards.
On the lake, that is my favorite way to fish for catfish on the lake is planer boards. And I year round.
And I like using my offshores. Offshore planer boards are awesome.
It is. And by the way, if you guys get a chance, I done an interview with Mike on the Offshore Tackle podcast the other day. If you get a chance, go to their website and listen to that. There was another guy on before me, but we had an absolute blast talking about catfish. And Mike doesn't really do catfish. He lives up north where they fish for walleye and northern pike and stuff like that. And when he would ask me a question, I'd tell him about the size of the fish that we catch. And he's just like, wow, he couldn't believe it. But that's what we do. So,
yep.
It's a lot of fun. We had a great show tonight, Doc. A lot of viewers. Thank everybody for watching Catfish Weekly. Be sure.
Thank you for the likes.
Go to Facebook and join our Facebook page. We're happy to see you guys on there. And next week, Doc, we're going to be spinning that rig wrap prize wheel again.
Yeah.
What? We'll be spinning that prize wheel.
Yep.
We sure will. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next Monday night on Catfish Weekly.